सन्मात्रमद्वयमनामयचिच्छरीरं तत्त्वं पदार्थनिगमामृतबोधरूपं कोऽहं विचारमहसैव च बोधनीयम् आनन्दमात्मरमणं शरणं प्रपद्ये।
ओम नमः परमर्षिभ्यो नमः परमर्षिभ्यः। हरिः ओम। ओम तत्सदाख्यं पुरुषं गुहेशं भक्तार्तिनाशाय शरीरवन्तं मोदस्वरूपं मधुरस्वभावं त्वाम् आत्मनाथं रमणं भजामि। त्वयि अरुणाचल सर्वं भूत्वा स्थित्वा प्रलीनम् एतच्चित्रम् हृद्यहमित्यात्मतया नृत्यसि भोः ते वदन्ति हृदयं नाम। बाल्यादिष्वपि जाग्रदादिषु तथा सर्वास्वस्थास्वपि व्यावृत्तास्वनुवर्तमानम् अहम् इति अन्तःस्फुरन्तं सदा स्वात्मानं प्रकटीकरोति भजतां यो मुद्रया भद्रयां तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः। इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। यस्मिन्नेव भवेत् स्थितं जगदिदं यस्यैव सर्वं जगत् यस्मात् सर्वमिदं भवेत् समुदितं यस्मै समस्तं भवेत्। येनेदं निखिलं जगत्समुदयात् सर्वं यदेव स्वयं सत्यं गुप्तधनं तदेव हृदये तत्सत्परं धीमहि। So for last 4 days, Bhagavan is giving us the teaching of the greatness of satsanga, without which true spirituality is impossible. Only a well-lit lamp, from a lamp you can light another lamp. You cannot light a lamp from the photo of a lamp or even from a video of a lamp. Deepat deepamiva. Like that, you need an illumined presence by which your own heart gets illumined. Now we have heard the Bhagavad Gita shloka. Arjuna is asking how jnana will come, for which Bhagavan said, Krishna said, tadvidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadekshyanti te jnanam jnaninas-tattvadarshinaha. You have to find a presence. Actually, that shloka Krishna says, you get the jnanam by prostrating to them and asking them whenever you need guidance, asking. So to having conversation with them. Pariprashna means again and again prashna till you become alive with the answer. The answer becomes your experience, not simply verbal answer. Then one more thing Krishna added is seva, kainkaryam. That is for getting a link. As Bhagavan said, sadhu uravu. Then only that uravu comes. Uravu kol nati. Then the jnana becomes, it is like electricity, it needs a wire. But wireless wire is also okay. So that is why Bhagavan said, pariprasnena sevaya upadekshyanti. They will teach you, they will give you jnanam. Upadekshyanti te jnanam. Ke jnaninaha, those who are jnanis. Tattvadarshinaha, those who behold tattvam, see tattvam. Tattvam drashtum sheelam, as Shankaracharya puts it. Their very habit is always to see the tattvam. And for tattvam, Bhagavan very simply gave meaning. Another. Tāne tāne tattvam. Idanai tāne kāttuvāy arunachala. In a very simple Tamil, Bhagavan said, tattvam means atma. Tattva means the self. What is experienced in you as the I am. The real nature of I is tattvam. The pure consciousness is tattvam. And to never lose sight of that is tattva darshanam. Never lose sight of that adhisthana, that current within is tattva darshanam. So, those who carry that in their very being, from them you get this knowledge, this jnanam, and that process is satsangam. That is what Shankaracharya said. You have satsangam, you will become nissanga. This word nissangatvam is very important, because sangha means getting attached, nissangatvam detached. There is a nissangatva which happens in your mind. You become, as we said, aloof, not attached to anything in the world. And there is a nissangatva which is, as we used a word yesterday, what is that? For sahaja. Axiomatic, something like that. So that is which is very natural. There is the Upanishadic Mahavakya which says, Asango hi ayam purushaha. This Purusha is Asanga. Atma வந்து நிசங்கமா இருக்காது, அதோட ஸ்வரூபம் இயல்பு நிலை. அது எதுலையும் ஒட்டிக்கல, அது தெரிஞ்சுக்கிறதே நிசங்கது. The very nature of the Purusha, the Atma, the Self, is nisangata, asangata. So when you recognize the asangata of the Atma, the Self, the Swarupa, that nisangata becomes natural. Last week we had a satsanga in one Padacchēdam where they chanted this verse in a wrong way. Satsangatve nirmohatvam, nirmohatve nishalatatvam, nishalatatve jivan mukti. Actually that is correct. Because when you come to satsanga, you listen to Brahma Vidya. When you know the real nature of the self, your moha, delusion, then only it goes. When you listen to the real nature of the self, moha goes. When the delusion is gone, nisangatva becomes natural. Then you know that you cannot get attached with anyone. This attachment is also simply ascribed, assumed. Actually, we are not attached to anybody. எல்லாம் வேலைக்கு ஆகணும் கொஞ்சம் நேரத்துக்கு ஒட்டின்னு இருக்கிறது. One day we were talking on Bhagavad Gita, where the teaching is given that you should train yourself in detachment, especially with children, your own children, apatyadishu. Then one man said, we need not get detached to them. They get detached to us and go. It is the other way. Only thing you have to learn to endure it by this knowledge. It is not that you have to keep yourself detached. They will tell you we have no connection. This love is always one-way traffic. When we say like this, we behaved the same way with our parents. This is the same way it goes. So actually, detachment, nobody is attached to anyone. Including our own body and mind, we are not really attached. Otherwise, all the past janma bodies we should be remembering. Including our own I, we are not remembering. Including our own I, we easily forget in deep sleep. Just erased, nothing exists. Only something strange, Purna is there. So this asangatva of the Atma is axiomatic, is sahaja, is natural. Somehow I don't like that word axiomatic. It looks like a machine. It sounds like a machine. But sahaja. It is the very nature of the self that it every day declares to you in deep sleep that I am not attached to the body, I am not attached to the mind, I am not attached to the ego, I am not attached to the world. Just completely it remains ekanai vāži nīduži. It remains eka, nothing else. You have to recollect that state. That deep sleep state you have to recollect. Again and again brood over that state. This kind of sadhana we have to do. We have to write in a just postcard, placard and keep it. Meditate on that state. Whenever you wake up in the midnight, just ask a question. What was the state a few minutes before? From where did I come out? Just try to plumb within. Knock the door, knock the door, knock the door. And slowly that atindriya sthiti will come to the plane of buddhi. Buddhigrahyam atindriyam. Slowly you will understand what that state means. That profound state of ashariratva. Not only ashariratva. The state is bodiless, the state is mindless also, egoless also. The Buddhists will call it as shunyata. We will call it as purnata. Yesterday we said, if we call it shunyata and purnata is same, then why not call it purnata? Why should you call it shunyata? For that, the Buddhists are saying, if you call it Purnata, you will never be able to separate yourself from worldly enjoyments. Because it is also Purna, why should I give up? This wrong kind of argument will come. So, Shunyata Astram. In Devi Kalotram, Bhagavan uses the word i-n-niyamam astram kondu. It is an astram which tells you this is shunyam, this is shunyam, this is shunyam. This Nagarjuna of Buddhism is a very powerful scholar. They have propounded so much about shunyam. But Tamil வந்து நம்ம சூன்யம்னா ஏதோ அர்த்தமாயிடும். பில்லி சூன்யம் வைக்கிறது இல்லை ஞாபகம் வந்துடும். So shunyam is purnam, purnam is shunyam. So that gives you that purnatva. So satsanga as such gives you shunyam apurnatameti. Mrityurapi amrtayate. Apat sampadivā bhāti vidvajjana samāgamat. Yoga Vasishta says, what happens when you come in contact with a vidwan, a jnani? Vidwan means a jnani. Shunyam apurnatameti. Before coming into that contact, you are feeling my life is shunyam, nothing, meaningless. But suddenly you become lit within. Oh, it is meaningful. There is a higher purpose for life. So shunyam apurnatameti, it becomes purna. Mrityurapi amrdayate. Death becomes amrta. Then you understand there is no death. Apat sampadiva bhati. As you said yesterday. Some great financial loss somebody had. Perhaps they are feeling sad about it. When they go to a saint, the way they take it is different. She was saying, when it was told to a saint, he said, Thakur ji ki kripa hai. What did he say? Thakur ji ki badi kripa hai. Oh, it is great blessing of Thakur ji. What is that blessing? You lost money, that is it. And Bhagavatam, Bhagavan says, when I want to bless somebody, I will snatch everything that they are holding to. Take away everything that they are holding to. Yasya anugraham ichchami, whomsoever I want to bless, tasya vittam haramyaham, I will rob their money. And another great lesson says, poverty is a great medicine. But you will not know it till you get the contact of a saint. Bhagavatam says, those who money has its own power. It makes the person arrogant. So, for an arrogant person, Bhagavan gives a medicine, that is poverty. Suddenly you lose everything. Then you know how those who are without money are also living. They are also happy. So happiness does not depend upon this. Asataha shrimatandhasya daridriyam param anjanam. Anjanam means it's like a collyrium, a magical, what can we call? மைக்கு என்ன சொல்கிறது இங்கிலீஷில் கொலிரியம் தான் சொல்லுவாள். You put that collyrium, then suddenly you see something which otherwise you cannot see. So, that is the power of satsanga. Mrityu apat sampadivabhadi vidvajjana samagamat. Now, in the slokam, so that is why Bhagavan said in Devikalottaram, when you see a jnani, with your whole being worship him. If you worship a jnani, even if you do not understand any teaching, if you have bhakti to a realized being, appadiye veduruvar, you will become a jivan mukta. Appadiye veduruvar ஆருயிரே எம் முக்தி மெய்ப்படியும் மார்க்க விருப்பமுளார் அப்புருஷர் பூஜை புரிவார்னு நான் சொல்லியாச்சு நம்ம அந்த விஷயம். அடுத்த ஸ்லோகமும் சத் சங்கம் தான். வேகம் நிறைய சத் சங்கம் சொல்லியாச்சு, அதனால் அதை சொல்லி தாண்டி போயிடலாம். பாராயணம் பண்ணலையோ, அது 2 ஸ்லோகம், ஒரு 3 ஸ்லோகம் பாராயணம். தாபம் தன் சந்திரனார் தைனியம் கற்பக, தைனியம் கிடையாது, தைனியம் தான். பாபம் தான் கங்கையார் பாருமே தாபமுதல் இம்மூன்றுமே இணையில்லா சாதுக்கள் தம்மாதர்ஷனத்தார்த்தான். அடுத்தது வேணுங்கிறத அடுத்த பாட்டு சொல்லலாம். தாபம் தன் சந்திரனால். தன் சந்திரன், தன் means very cool. Dakshinamurti Stotram, when Bhagavan is translating to Tamil, here and there he will touch. That will have its own beauty. Tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. This is the same refrain in every song. that, yes. There, when he says in one song, he puts Tannarul Guruvamanda Dakshinamurti Potri. Tannarul. That grace is so cool, shower of grace. That Dakshinamurti. And the Agni Vizhi, adena paattu? Tazhal Vizhi Guruvamanda Dakshina. One song he says Tannarul, it is so cool. And another song he says his very look is fire. Tazhal Vizhi Guruvamanda Dakshinamurti Potri. அந்த கண்ணால் பார்த்தாலே சிவன் மூணாவது கண்ணு திறந்தால் எரிஞ்சு போயிடுங்கிற. என்ன எரிஞ்சு போகும்? அஜ்ஞானம் தான் எரிஞ்சு போகும், அவித்யை தான் எரிஞ்சு போகும். The moment he looks at you, your avidya, ignorance is gone. So tāpam taṇḍeṇḍṛaṇ. It is generally said when you have tāpa, the daytime the sun is blazing forth. Night, yesterday it was a full moon day. Everyone was going for Giri Pradakshina, so much crowd. The Chandra, the moon is very, very cool. Day before. So the light is very soothing. Tāpam taṇḍeṇḍṛaṇ. Chandran gives you coolness. Dainiyam. Dainiyam means you feel very humiliated, very worthless. You don't have anything. You are a poor person. Dina bhavam. So that is considered as a very, very petty state. In bhakti it is worthy. When you have bhakti, you should have dainiya bhava. In Aksharamana also, Bhagavan says, Enbolum deenarai inburak kathini ennālum vāzhundarula arunachala. நான் ஒரு worthlessனு எனக்கு தெரியறது தானே பகவானோட சரணாகதி வரும். When I find that I am worthless, I surrender to him. And Shankaracharya also uses the same word in Shivananda Lahari. Prabhustvam deenānam khalu paramabandhuhu pashupate. Hey Pashupate, you are the great friend of Dina. And I am the greatest Dina. The same word. What Bhagavan uses, the same thing he also says. You are the great friend of Dina. So, Dainiyam generally means I feel myself very small, worthless. No money, nothing. Basic necessities are also not there. And suddenly such a person comes across a karpaka vriksha. Whatever you think, it will give. It will deliver. But that is very dangerous. Ramakrishna says a story that a person somehow was wandering for job, no money, no food, was just wandering about. In a forest, suddenly he found a mysterious tree looking very beautiful. Under the tree he was resting, was very hungry. He thought, if somebody will give me some food, I will be happy. Suddenly he found that there was a leaf spread out and all very, very rich dish, delicious food was there. He said, how it came? Oh, some magic is happening. So he thought somebody should come and serve me. And suddenly he found someone, all very well dressed people coming and serving him. Then he asked for this, that, everything was given. And he wanted a couch to sleep under the tree. And suddenly a couch also appeared. Then he thought somebody should massage my feet. And suddenly two people came, they are doing massage. And he thought, whatever I am thinking, it is happening. this is a terrible forest. We don't know whether tiger or something will come. And tiger also came. There ends the story. Tiger also came, there ends the story. This is the nature of mind. So it wants this, that. And we do not know what we want. That is the problem. And we do not have the power not to think that is not good for us. Those things also we will think. So anyway, here Bhagavan says, a person will get everything if he goes to Karpaka Vriksha. Papam tan Gangayal. When you go to Ganga, your papam is removed. That also there is a story. One person was going to Ganga, a big businessman. He went to Ramakrishna and said, I am going to take Ganga Snan. Ramakrishna understood, because so much you do cheating this side and take Ganga Snan, your papam will be gone. So Ramakrishna said, when you have seen so many trees on the bank of Ganga? Yes. See, when you go to take a dip in Ganga, your papam will not be there in you. It will sit in the tree. But after Snan, when you come back, they will again come and back and sit on your shoulder. Sometimes, somebody would have drowned in Ganga. Their papam will be sitting waiting for some person so that they can go with that person. They will also come with you. So, papam tan Gangayal parume. Tapam mudal i-m-mūṇṭṛum. Tapam, papam, dainyam. Tapam is, என்ன சொல்றது? இங்கிலீஷில் என்ன குறை? Dearth. Not longing, feeling very kurai. I have something dearth in me. Deficient. I am nobody. Inferiority. Inferiority complex and sin complex, papam, and suffering, tapam, suffering. These three will go i-m-mūṇṭṛum inayilla sādhukkaḻ tam mādarshanattal, that great darshanam of a sadhu. When you get the darshanam of a sadhu, all these three will go. The entire Bhagavata Purana is full of such varnana where they speak about sadhu sangha. In Tiruvannamalai, nowadays Tiruvannamalai, you will not see that. You will not be able to make out. Because so much of outside people have come. So you will not understand. At least you have to go back about 30 years. These local people in Tiruvannamalai are like the Pahadis of Himalayas. Very poor people, but all of them will be always associated with some sadhu here. And in front of Ramana Ashram, there was a tea shop. Now, of course, that tea shop is not there because so many rich stores have come. Formerly, these people, local people, will have some tea shop. And in 89, 90, one German lady was also very, very noble lady. She was keeping a tea shop there. And she taught many of the local people how to keep a tea shop very neat, very clean. And these local people, they are not at all money-minded. When you move close with them, they will teach you how to live without money. So, I will be staying somewhere in front of the ashram in that Ramana Nagar, Prem Sangh guest house. So, morning 4:30 I will go to ashram. sometimes I will sit in the tea shop, we can see all the sadhus come. First, they will not give tea to any person who gives money. The first tea will go to some sadhu. Then only they will start selling. And that also, in Tiruvannamalai, it is a local custom. They will not call this sir, madam, this. Everywhere you see that. Even the dog calls sir, madam. In those days, they will only call Shiva. Vango Shiva, Ukarango Shiva, ēdukku Shiva, tea saapidriya Shiva. All that was, the culture was from this sadhu sangha. This contact with sadhus. That was very, sometimes, it's like, you cannot say that all sadhus are jivan muktas or jnanis, but we do not know. Amongst them, there will be great beings. That contact will elevate. And all these local people, they are like that. So, when inayilla sādhukkaḻ tamma darshanam, incomparable, unparalleled sādhukkaļ, great sadhus, saints, by their vision, one will attain dignity, no dainya bhava. Great dignity will come to you, the dignity of your real nature, your real self. Kunjaswami used to say, Nangala Kuberan Vamsam. You don't want money or anything. Kuberan Vamsam. You belong. Because the dignity which they got from the presence of Bhagavan. Because the greatest dignity that can be given to you is that you are the non-dual self. Nothing exists apart from you. All glory belongs to your real nature. Nee purna vastu, nee atma, shuddha chaitanyam, samrad, swarad, அப்படியெல்லாம் கூப்பிடுறது ஸ்ருதி. இதை விட பெரிய ஒரு கௌரவம் யாரும் கொடுக்க முடியும்? அது ஒன்று வந்துடுத்தானா தனக்கு பெரிய கௌரவம் வந்துடுது. நான் ஆத்மாங்கிற ஒரு கௌரவத்தை விட பெரிய ஒரு கௌரவம் கிடையாது. நான் சரீரம்ங்கிறத விட ஒரு இழிவே கிடையாது. When you consider yourself as the body, that moment dainya bhava comes. You will become dainya, the inferiority will somewhere or the other it will come. Either you become inferior when you see a wealthy person, or become inferior in front of a knowledgeable person, or become inferior in front of if you are not healthy, in front of a doctor. If you are having some suffering in front of some, even a sadhu comes, you feel inferior because you go with the motive that you will get something. So the inferiority is because you consider yourself wrongly as the ego, as the body. The dainya bhava. Korayirku. And the third thing is papam. Papam is when we take a dip in Ganga, papam will go. We do not know whether papam went or not. Some people were doing some puja to remove papam. Agamarshana. Then Samartha Ramadas was moving about there. And you see in Maharashtra devotees, he was entirely different. All other devotees in Maharashtra, they were all very sweet saints, but they are all crying saints, most of them. But he is like a royal king. He is a sadhu moving about in lion cloth. He will have a yoga danda and just draw it, it will be like a sword. He is for all, everything. So some Brahmins were doing jabam, agamarshanam. Then you know what he did? He took one, the kavanik enna solluva, கல்லை வச்சு அடிக்கிறது. Catapult. Yes. Using a catapult, he was hitting birds. Samartha Ramdas. And the birds were falling dead. So these Brahmins, they saw there, such a sin you are doing. You are also a Brahmana and you are killing these birds. Such a great sin you are doing. Then suddenly he said, if it is a sin, I will do. What prayaschitta should I do? We will do prayashchittam. He said, we will do prayashchittam, some japam, homam, something, so much dakshina, everything. He said, okay, I will arrange. And he said to the local ruler, that give money to these people, let my sin go. So the money was given, some ritual was done, and after the ritual he was sitting looking at the dead birds. And they asked, what are you doing? I am seeing whether they are becoming alive. He said, how can they become alive? No, you said by prayaschitta the sin will go. If the sin is gone, they should become alive. They are not becoming alive. They said, sin is gone, but birds will not become alive. Then that is not, I am not for that. I will make them alive. You will make them alive? Oh, I will do. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. He started chanting Nama, the birds started flying. That's a story. So papam, all papams, the essence of that is papam, all papam is gone when you, Ramakrishna says, a room which contains darkness for 1,000 years, you put light, in that moment darkness is gone. Like that all papam will go the moment you take the nama of Bhagavan. That means when you attain jnanam. The moment you attain jnanam, papam will go. And papam means what? Obstacles for jnanam is papam. Nothing else. Papam means anything that become an obstacle for jnanam. See, when we want to listen to Atma Vidya and we are not able to listen, that obstacle is papam. That might be due to various reasons, due to sense desires, or due to some anger, or due to jealousy, or due to dullness. The mind is scattered. So many things. These troubles, they are the sins that obstruct abidance in the self. Anything that obstructs abidance in the self is called sin. And that sin should be removed by right means, by which I will become truly sinless. So that also, papam and then tapam. Tapa means suffering. Is due, of course, due to ignorance. You suffer. Ignorance makes you suffer. The presence of moon, your tapam might go, or sometime you might become lunatic also. That is why it's called lunar. பைத்தியம் எல்லாம் அமாவாசை பௌர்ணமிக்கெல்லாம் மேலே கீழே போயின்னு இருக்கும் இல்லையா, எல்லாருக்குமே இருக்கும் அதோட எஃபெக்ட். எவ்ரி ஒன் வில் ஹாவ் வேவ்ஸ் ஆஃப் மூட்ஸ் சேஞ்ச் டியூரிங் new moon day and full moon day, but we will not accept it. You can keep a calendar and watch what is happening. You will find there will be changes, mood swings. But the jnanam, the contact with sages, it removes your, roots out the tapam, samsara tapam, samsara tapavapanam. When you have contact with a saint, a sage, your samsara tapa will be removed. Your pain, inward pain, dukkha, all dukkha is due to ignorance. Swami Ramatirtha says there is only one disease, that is ignorance, and only one remedy, that is jnanam. Nothing else. So when you have that jnanam, this samsara tapa is removed. Ella tapathukku moola karanam ajnanam. Ajnanathoda swarupam ahankaram. அதிலேருந்து எல்லா துக்கமும் கர்த்திருவம் போக்திருத்துவம் வருது, துக்கம் எல்லாம் வருது. இதை மூலத்திலேயே நீக்கம் பண்ணுறது தான் தாபத்தை நீக்கம் பண்ணுறது. All this can happen by the darshanam of a sādhukkaḻ tamma darshanattāl. Darshanam means here you have the contact, you listen to the teaching, you do some karma yoga also. Everything happens in the presence of a Mahapurusha. Complete purity. Physically you become pure, mentally you become pure, intellectually you become clear. And the ego is removed. Avidya is removed, ajnana is removed. So all this happens tamma darshanam. Ma darshanam means great darshanam. And sadhu darshana is not that easy. It happens, Bhagavata says, when Bhagavan wants to bless you, the only way he can bless you is by giving you this darshanam of a Mahapurusha. That is what in Bhagavata Parikshit says. He is going to die on the 7th day. He is waiting for his death. Then he is seeing that Shukacharya, that great son of Vyasa, walks into that area. All the sages who were there, they were standing up, receiving him, inviting him. And then this king who is going to die on the 7th day feels such a joy in that presence. The mind becomes so peaceful. Suddenly the whole heart is jumping. And then he says to Shukacharya, he says, in the womb of my mother, I had a vision. I had a vision of Krishna. And when I took birth, the first darshan I had, even before seeing my mother's face, I saw the face of Krishna. Because in Krishna's lap only he became alive. Because of that grace, I am able to see you now. It is not the reverse. He is not saying, I am seeing you so that I can see Krishna. No. He says, I was able to see Krishna, and the result of that is this darshanam of a Jivan Mukta like Shuka Brahma Maharshi. Nūnam me Bhagavan Pritaha Krishna Pandu Sutah Priyaha Paitrishvaseya Prityartham Tad Gotrasyatta Bandhavaha Anyathate Avyaktagatehe Darshanam Naha Katham Nrinam. If not with that grace, how can I see you? You are an Avyaktagati. Your travel is not traceable by ordinary human beings. Somehow I am able to see you. You have walked into my home to give me darshan. So that means it is Bhagavan's pure grace, blessing. So that is the greatest effect of grace. By that grace, what happened? He was able to hear the stories. 7 days went like 1 second. So much joy. Listening to this story, that story, everything happened. Ignorance was removed. And at last, Mahavakyopadesha was given. And before death, this king sat like a log in samadhi. And before sitting in samadhi, he expressed his gratitude to the sage and told him, you have made me free. You have given me freedom from fear. You have made me established in the Atman. Now I do not fear death in any form. In whatever form it may visit me, I am not afraid. Bhagavan Takshakadibhyo mrityubhyo na bibhemyaham. Takshakangaradu oru form of death thaan. Endha roopathila maranam vandalum naan bayapada maten. பயம் இல்லை, பயத்தை நீக்கி கொடுத்துட்டேள், அஜ்ஞானத்தை நீக்கி கொடுத்துட்டேள், எனக்கு இப்போது ஞான நிஷ்டை வந்துடுத்து. அதனால் நான் உங்களுக்கு என்ன கைமாறு பண்ண முடியும்? சித்தோஸ்மி அனுகிரகீதோஸ்மி, இதுதான் அனுகிரகம், இதுதான் கருணை. இந்த கருணை பண்ணிவிட்டேளே அப்படின்னு சொல்லி நமஸ்காரம் பண்ணுறேன். ஸோ திஸ் இஸ் மாதர்சனம், the great darshanam. Many had that great darshanam when they came to see Bhagavan. One vision of Bhagavan, all their problems were gone. Many who came to him was like that. Varanasi Subbalakshmi Amma came to Bhagavan with so much tapam, so much suffering. When she saw Bhagavan, all her tapam was gone. Udalayar party, Echama party, all of them, those old ladies, they were bearing so much sorrow in them. When they came and saw Bhagavan, 1 minute, all that gone. So too many people, many devotees, when they came here, the tapam was so much, that was removed. Ignorance was also removed. Ajnanam cha nirastam me. True jnanam was born. So this happens by Mādarshanam, this great sadhu ravu, by contact with a sadhu. And in the next verse, Bhagavan says, don't make the mistake of comparing the contact with a sage even with a visit to temple or puja to Salagrama or Shivalinga, or even taking a dip in Ganga, or even visions of devatas. It is much, much above that. Kammayamam tīrthangal, kanmannam deivangal, ammahattukkalku inaye āgāvam. Amma, அவை எண்ணினார் தூய்மை எய்விப்பர், sādhukkaḻ கண்ணினார் கண்டிடவே காண். This is Bhagavata shloka. Nahi ammayani tīrthāni na devāha mrichilāmayaha te punanti urukalena darshanādeva sādhavaha. This is the shloka. இந்த ஸ்லோகம் பாகவதத்தில் வருதுன்னா ரொம்ப ஆச்சரியம் நமக்கு இல்லையா? பாகவதம் தான் எல்லா தேவதைகள் கதையெல்லாம் சொல்லிவிட்டு பாகவதம் சாதுக்கள் மகிமை சொல்கிறது. Bhagavata is narrating about the greatness, glory of satsanga, where it says, Nahi ammayani tīrthāni. When you go to some tīrtha, means some sacred river, it is all nothing but water. If jnanam comes, even drainage water will become Ganga. In a slogan, Ganga samastavari nivahaha. Snanam tena samastavari nivahe punyas samastah kriyaha. All the water bodies becomes Ganga for a jnani. There is a sampradaya, when a sadhu takes a dip in a pond, all the villagers will take and dip in that moment, because when he takes a dip, that water body has become Ganga. Tirthi kurvanti tirthani. They make tirthas. By their presence, they make tirtha. So, kammayamam tirthangal. Otherwise, what is the use of all these water bodies? These rivers, ponds, which are called, this is not to insult them, this is to glorify the mahima of sadhu sangha. So you have to understand in the right way. So kammayamam tirthangal, kam means water. Kammayamam tirthangal means rivers like Ganga, Kaveri, they are all water. Kalmannam deivangal. It's Bhagavata says that. It's not Bhagavan. Kalmannam deivangal. All your gods are made of stones and mud. Kalmannam Devangal. Unless you have contact with a sage, when we came and saw Arunachala is Shiva for us. Why? Because Bhagavan has told. Even Purana Vachana would not have influenced us. We believe Arunachala is Shiva because Bhagavan has told. There are people even in Tiruvannamalai who consider it as like any other mountain. Because you do not get that eye, that anjanam of Shraddhanjanam with which to look at Arunachala as Shiva. And that Shraddhanjana comes to you by the grace of a saint or a sage. All same. A jnani. When he tells that this is Ishvara, this is Brahman, you see Brahman there. There is a story of Ramanuja that there was one big boxer. He was a very strong person. He has defeated everybody. And one courtesan, a lady, very beautiful lady, she kept a challenge to her friends that I will enslave this person. And she went to that person and enslaved him. And he was totally fallen to her. And she said, you should be always holding umbrella to me. Then you can be with me. And this strong boxer, he will be holding umbrella whenever she goes. Holding an umbrella. He will not look this side or that side. He never felt others are laughing at him. He was not even conscious of others. His whole eyes were on her, completely enamored, completely fascinated by her, and not at all looking. And one day, the great saint Ramanuja with his disciples were walking. Ramanuja suddenly stood because this scene was happening. This lady was going and this person was holding the umbrella behind her, and she bowed to Ramanuja, but Ramanuja noticed this person is blind to the presence of Ramanuja. He is not even looking at Ramanuja, he is not looking at people around, his eyes was all at her, holding the umbrella. Ramanuja kept his finger like this. What is happening here? And then he inquired to other people. Then they said, this is what happened. This lady has cast a spell on him and she is completely fascinated by her beauty, and for him world does not exist. That is his state now. So Ramanuja one day asked that lady to send that person to him. So with so much pain, he was separated from her and he came to see Ramanuja for a few minutes. And Ramanuja asked him, why are you so much fascinated by that lady? And he said, you are a sannyasi, you will not understand. You tell me, I will understand, try to understand. Because I was also a grihastha formerly. So you tell me. So he said, you see, I don't see any face more beautiful than her. And her eyes are so fascinating that nothing is more beautiful than her eyes. This is what he said. Then Ramanuja said, okay, you say nothing is more beautiful than her eyes. Suppose if I show you some eyes which are more beautiful than her eyes, what will you do? See, first he said nothing can be more beautiful. But Ramanuja had a challenge with him. Suppose if I am able to show you something more beautiful than that, what will you give me? He said, I will give myself to you. I will be your servant. See, Ramanuja said, okay. He asked his attendant to blindfold him and took his hand, took him directly to Ranganatha's presence. Srirangam, Ranganatha's presence. And there he was uncovered, eyes were uncovered, and said, "Behold that face." See, it is Ramanuja initiating, and that person looked at Ranganatha's face, that deity there. For other person it might have looked like a stone carved sculpture, Shilpa. But this person looked at it in ecstasy, he swooned. He swooned. And after that, he was one of the greatest devotee of Ramanuja. Because Ramanuja later on, it is said that Ramanuja told that beauty is one kala of Narayana. It is one form of Bhagavan. So the only way you can extract the mind which is fascinated by one beauty is to show another beauty which is more beautiful than this. So when you reveal the greatest beauty in Bhagavan, then all other beauties becomes meaningless. Saundaryotaratopi sundarataram tvadvapuhu. It is more beautiful than beauty itself. When that was revealed, this became insipid for him. All other things became meaningless. But to reveal that beauty, you need the presence of a great Mahatma to tell you that this stone is not stone, this is Ishvara. Kanakama used to say, she has also written about that in her book, that first Ishvara Darshana came to her from at her age of 5. They were in Kurnool, in Andhra Pradesh. Kanchi Paramacharya Chandrasekharendra Saraswati Swami was moving about as a Parivrajaka, moving about, and they were planning to camp in Kurnool. And the Chaturmasya period, the 2 months of Chaturmasya, actually it is 4 months, but Chaturpaksha, that is the South Indian Chaturmasya. So they were planning to do it in their house, but there were some difficulty regarding which area to enter. Kanakama said, my brother was so devoted that he broke the house, one part of the house, for Chandramoulishwara Puja and reconstructed it in such a way that it will suit. And Acharya was staying there. I was a child of 5-year-old. And there was a photo of Jagannatha, Swami of Jagannatha Puri. And you can see that Jagannatha idol. It will be an unfinished idol, look very different. It will not look a perfect Shilpa. So one day, those days they were all very free, because this is not the time of YouTube fame. So whoever comes, they will come. So Acharya was sitting. And this young girl, she came there, little girl. Swami showed that Jagannatha's photo and asked her, you know what it is? She looked at it and she said, I said, oh, it looks frightening, because the figure will look very different. Then Paramacharya said, Bhayapadappadadama, Adu Swami, Adudha Swami, Bhagavan. He said, it is Bhagavan, it is Swami, you should not be afraid. When he said, suddenly, when I am looking at it, I saw only Bhagavan. That is putting Anjanam in the eyes. By the word of the master, you should be able to look at the Salagrama, Shivalinga, Murti, everything. When you see like that, you see Ishvara in that form. As Tukaram and Abhang, they used to say, you have bhava in your heart. Pashane Panduranga. He says you can have darshan of Panduranga in a stone. If you do not have bhava, you will, even if he will appear before you, you will not see. You will not, even Krishna was seen by Duryodhana, no use. So, kammayamam tīrthangal, kalmannam deivangal, mahattukku inaiye āhāvam. You cannot compare anything in the world with the darshanam of a sadhu, a jivan mukta. Amma, Bhagavan here puts an exclamation. Asharyam. It is not, I think it is not there in the Sanskrit. Kammayani tirtani na deva mrchilamayaha te punanti uru kalena. Uru means long period. Amma vai Asharyam. It's a wonder. Yen il naalai tu imai evippam. With long days you have to do upasana, puja. You should have bhava. When you do sadagrama, recently I read one Swami's words, says, when you do puja to a vigraha, an idol, it entirely depends upon your faith, your belief. The idol will not give you any help. But if you have bhava, you don't see it as an idol. You see it as Bhagavan, you see it as Ishvara. To have that bhava, you might be doing puja for long period. One Vaidya was there in Trichy. A very well-known Ayurvedic physician, very well-known. Radhakrishna Shastrigal. And he was very devoted to Kanchi Paramacharya, very close, a great scholar also in Vedanta, and many works like Lalita Sahasranama Bhashya, and all the stotras of Shankaracharya, Shankara Vijaya Makaranda, all many works he has written in Sanskritam. So once he told me one of his life incident. I had some problem. He was a Sri Vidya Upasaka also. And there was Lalita Parameshwari in his house. So he went to Paramacharya and wanted to tell his some difficulty in his life, he told. Then Swami said, "Adhe enda engada solren." He said, "Why do you tell me that?" He said, "To whom else can I tell?" Then again he was about to narrate. Then also Swami said, "Why do you tell me that? You don't get anyone else? To whom will I say this? When I come, when I have some problem, I can only tell it to you. நீ வீட்டில் பூஜை பண்ணுறியே அது என்ன கல்லா?" He asked, "What you are doing puja in your house, is it a stone?" பூஜை பண்ணுற இல்லையா? ஆமாம். எது பண்ணுற? அம்பாள் பண்ணுறேன். கல்லா? Is it a stone? Suddenly he said, woke up. அங்கே ஏன் சொல்ல மாட்டேங்கிற? Said, he told me, after that I stopped going to even temples. இந்த கோவிலுக்கு போகிறதெல்லாம் நிறுத்தி விட்டேன் நான். ஏன்னா இங்கே இருக்கிறது பார்க்க தெரியலை எனக்கு. I was unable to see what I am doing puja there. That is also divine. That is Bhagavan. So if you have that bhava, then only Bhagavan comes there. So many years he was doing puja, but suddenly one day the very nature of puja became different. The murti which he was worshipping became alive. என்-niyamam ஆய் தூய்மை எய்விப்பர். For long period he was doing puja. In our nearby village, very rich people, they have lot of salagrama puja. Very wise person. He will do puja in the morning, and the children in the house, they will be waiting for him to finish his puja. After the puja, they will take all the salagramas to play. Ball madri which vilayadittu. But he had such a faith, he will say, let them play with salagrama. That is also good. Sādhukkaḻ கண்ணினால் கண்டிடவே காண். But when you have contact with a great sage, instantaneously you are purified. தூய்மை எய்விப்பர். அக்ஷரமணமா தோயும் அன்பர்கள் தோயவே, அது என்ன பாட்டு? தூய் மனமொழியர் தோயும் உன் மெய்யக அகம் தோயவே அருள் என் அருணாச்சல. The sādhukkaḻ, who are these sadhus? தூய் மனமொழியர். Their mind is pure, their words are pure. When you listen, your mind also becomes pure, your words also become pure, your life becomes pure. So தூய் மனமொழியர் தோயுமுன் மெய்யகம். They are always, their mind is taking delight in Bhagavat Swarupa. Let me also take a dip in that. Thoyave arul en arunachala. When you have a vision of such a Mahatma, naṇṇiṇāl kandida, the moment they look at you, you are purified. Because of this faith only, we see that devotees throng everywhere around a Mahapurusha. You see, people came from many places to see Bhagavan, just one look of him. In Ramayana, there is a story where Rama walks outside. People will be standing on both sides, Valmiki says, and even blind people will be there. Why they have come? Because their attitude is, we cannot see him, but his look will fall on us. Yascha ramam na pasyettu, yamcha ramo na pasyati, nindita sarvalokeshu, swatmapyenam vigarhate. Whomever Rama has not looked, has not seen, he feels, my life is worthless. That Valmiki pictures in Ramayana. So too, when Vishwamitra comes to Ayodhya, people are on both sides, they are there to see that great sage. And Rama also, all his 14 years he was spending with this Rishi ashrama, that Rishi ashrama, so many ashramas, satsanga. Because nothing purifies you like that. The greatest sadhana is that. Satsanga is the greatest sadhana, which makes all your sadhanas alive. Nama japa, puja, jnanam, everything becomes worthy when you have a live contact with a great sage. That is what Bhagavan says here. We will continue tomorrow. Yato mamatma bhavasi tvameva tato na vachyam mama kinchidasti. यथा तवेष्टं कुरु मां तथैव त्वाम् आत्मनाथं रमणं भज.